It's time for spelling analysis. Let's keep applying the phonograms and rules we've been learning to new words. The first word is 8. She is 8 years old. 8. Go ahead and say 8. Let's sound it out. A. That's right. It's A-I. T. Go ahead and write 8. Good. And help me to write it. A. T. And how do you mark it? Well, underline the A. Notice this phonogram ends in a GH, and here it's being used before the letter T. Let's sound it out. 8. 8. The next word is apple. I think I'll eat an apple for my snack. Apple. Go ahead and say apple. How many syllables? 2. We will say to spell pull. What will we say to spell? Pull. Let's sound it out. The first syllable is app. The second syllable is pull. P-ul. Silent finally. Go ahead and write pull, sounding it out as you write it. Excellent. And now help me to write it. The first syllable is app. The second syllable is pull. P-ul. Silent finally. Why do we have a silent final E in apple? You're right. Every syllable must have a vowel. Let's read it. Apple. Apple. The next word is spell. You are learning how to spell. Go ahead and say spell. Let's sound it out. S-P-E-L-L. Go ahead and write spell. And help me to write it. S-P-E-L-L. And why did we double the L? That's right, we often double F, L, or S after a single vowel. Let's read it. S-P-E-L-L. Spell. The next word is word. What is your favorite word? Go ahead and say word. And let's sound it out. Word. Go ahead and write word. And help me to write it. Word. And how will we mark it? Well, underline the word. Let's read it. Word. Word. The next word is breathe. Breathe deep. Breathe. Go ahead and say breathe. And let's sound it out. B-R-E. Use an E-A. Silent finally. Go ahead and write breathe. Sound it out as you write it. Excellent. And help me to write it. B-R-E-V. Silent finally. How do we mark it? Well, underline the E and the V. What sound does V do here in breathe? The second. And we'll double underline the silent E. Why do we have a silent final E in breathe? You're right. It makes the TH say the V sound. What does this say? It actually says breath. Notice this changes to an E, and that says th. With the E, it says breathe. Are breath and breathe related? Yes, I take a breath when I breathe. The next word is axe. The father used the axe when he chopped down the tree. Axe. Go ahead and say axe. And let's sound it out. Axe. Silent finally. Go ahead and write axe, sounding it out as you write it. And help me to write it. Axe. Silent finally. How do you mark it? We'll double underline the E. Why do we have a silent E in axe? You're right, it makes the word look bigger. Now, sometimes you'll see axe written like this, and other times you'll see it written like this. So it's spelled both ways in English, axe. The next word is knife. Be careful with the sharp knife. Go ahead and say knife. Let's sound it out. N. That's two-letter N that you may use only at the beginning of the base word. I, F. Silent finally. Go ahead and write knife. And help me to write it. N, I, f. Silent final E. How do we mark it? We'll underline the N, we'll put a line over the I, and we'll double underline the E. Why do we have a silent final E in knife? The vowel says the long sound because of the E. Let's read it. N-I-F, knife. The next word is juice. Would you like a glass of orange juice? Juice. Go ahead and say juice. Let's sound it out. J, oo. That's oo that you may not use at the end of English words. S, use a k, s. Silent final E. You were right. Good job. Go ahead and write juice. And help me to write it. J, oo, s. Silent final E. How do we mark it? We'll underline the oo. And what sound of k, s do you hear in juice? The second. And we'll double underline the E. Why do we have a silent E in juice? That's right. The C softens to S because of the E. Let's read it. J, oo, s. Juice. The next word is like. They like to swim. Like. Go ahead and say like. Let's sound it out. L-I-K. Use a tall K. Silent final E. Go ahead and write like, sounding it out as you write it. And help me to write it. L-I-K. Silent final E. How do we mark it? We'll put a line over the I and we'll double underline the E. Why do we have a silent E in like? The vowel said its long sound because of the E. Let's read it. L-I-K, like. The next word is among. She enjoys going on a walk among her friends or among the trees. Among. Go ahead and say among. How many syllables? 2. We will say to spell a-mong. What will we say to spell? A-mong. Let's sound it out. The first syllable is A. A. The second syllable is mong. M-ah-ng. Go ahead and write a-mong. And help me to write it. The first syllable is A. Second syllable is mong. M-ah-ng. And how do we mark it? We'll put a line over the A and we'll underline the ng. Now, why did the O sound like among? That's right, O may say next to a W, TH, M, N, or V. Here it's surrounded by an M and an N. And as you can imagine, among is a very old word. And this said its lazy sound. Any vowel may say or I in an unstressed syllable. Let's read it. A-m-ah-ng, among. The next word is honey. I'll put some honey in my tea. Honey. Go ahead and say honey. How many syllables? 2. We will say to spell hon-e. What will we say to spell? Hon-e. Let's sound it out. The first syllable is hon. A-n. The second syllable is e. Use an A-E. Go ahead and write hon-e. And help me to write it. The first syllable is hon. A-n-e. And how do we mark it? We'll underline the E. Let's read it. A-n-e, honey. And why did the O say You're right. O may say next to a W, TH, M, N, or V. There it is again, honey. The next word is offer. I will offer him a job. Offer. Go ahead and say offer. How many syllables? 2. We will say to spell off-fer. What will we say to spell? Off-fer. Let's sound it out. The first syllable is off. Off. The second syllable is fur. The of her. Go ahead and write off-fer. And help me to write it. The first syllable is off. Off. Second syllable is fur. And how do we mark it? We underline the Let's read it. Off-fer. Offer. The next word is cheese. Would you like some cheese on your sandwich? Cheese. Go ahead and say cheese. And let's sound it out. Ch-e. Use an E-double-E. Z. Use a S. Silent final E. Go ahead and write cheese. And help me to write it ch, e, z. Silent final E. How do we mark it? We'll underline the ch and the e. And what sound of s do you hear in cheese? The second. And we'll double underline the e. Why do we have a silent e in cheese? Well, if we took it off, it would look like it was a plural word, but it's there to keep it from ending in s. Let's read it. Ch, e, z, cheese. The next word is bottle. Please bring a bottle of water with you. Bottle. Go ahead and say bottle. How many syllables? 2. We will say to spell bot-tle. What will we say to spell? Bot-tle. Let's sound it out. The first syllable is bot. B-a-t. The second syllable is tul. T-ul. Silent final E. Go ahead and write bot-tle. And help me to write it. The first syllable is bot. B-a-t. The second syllable is tul. T-ul. Silent final E. How do we mark it? We'll underline the E. Let's read it. B-a-t-tul. Bottle. Why do we have a silent E in bottle? You're right. Every syllable must have a vowel. If we didn't have an E, that syllable would not have a vowel. The last word is surprise. Let's throw him a surprise party. Surprise. Go ahead and say surprise. How many syllables? 2. We will say to spell surprise. What will we say to spell? Surprise. Let's sound it out. The first syllable is sir. Use the of hurt. The second syllable is prize. P-I-Z. Use a z. Silent final E. Go ahead and write surprise. Excellent. Sounding it out as you write it. And help me to write it. The first syllable is sir, Second syllable is prize. P-I-Z. Silent final E. All right, how do we mark it? Well, underline the What sound of I-E-Y did we hear? The long sound. And z is saying z, its second sound. And we'll double underline the E. So, why do we have a silent E in surprise? How many reasons are there? There are 2. Do you see them? The vowel said the long sound because of the E. Also, one surprise, it ends in S. So to keep a singular word from looking plural, we added an E. Let's read it. S-er-p-er-I-z. Surprise! Great work today.
Combining the science of reading with the joy of learning. Learn more at essentials.logicoфenglish.com.